Lord Ahmad of Wimbledon. Lord Ahmad has had a very distinguished political career as well as a distinguished career in banking and finance. Prior to his current appointment in 2017 as the Minister of State for Commonwealth and United Nations at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, he was the Minister for Aviation and Trade. He has held ministerial portfolios at the Home Office, the Transport Ministry, and Ministry of Communities and Local Government. He is also the UK Prime Minister's Special Representative in preventing sexual violence in conflict, as well as the Prime Minister's Special Envoy in freedom of religion and belief. Lord Ahmad, we are really honored by your presence here today.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to invite Lord Ahmad to address this gathering.
Your Excellency, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, it's an immense pleasure to be with you here on this evening, and it's wonderful to celebrate this rather grand occasion of Sri Lanka's independence, and indeed recognise the incredible relationship between our two nations. Now, in the introduction, it was quite clear, I'm sure, to many about my responsibilities, and I'm delighted I'm joined also by Philip Parham, the Commonwealth Envoy. And I was joking with Philip in the car that one stake I can make in Her Majesty's government, that if you count up the letters in my title, and I don't mean the Lord Ahmad of Wimbledon part, I'm talking about the responsibilities I hold in government, I can stake a claim to have the longest title in government when it comes to responsibilities. I put that out there for everyone. Secondly, I of course commend totally the attire of our gracious host this evening. You can clearly see both the High Commissioner and ourselves had an early morning exchange as to what colour to wear. And I can assure you, as a Conservative politician, to me being adorned in red is quite rare. However, there was a bit of a sporting theme which I'll come on to in a moment or two. But being a Liverpool fan, there's perhaps a giveaway in that. Although I'm cognizant of the fact that the words Everton come to mind, and we do like our near neighbours, and I'm just talking about our European neighbours. As a Liverpool fan, I'm talking about Everton, and I hope they'll do us the right thing by their result against Manchester City. But enough about football for now. Your Excellency, first of all, may I join everyone in this room in welcoming you to London. It's been a pleasure to welcome you here. And I assure you that as the Minister for the United Nations, the Commonwealth, I won't go through all my titles, but also on the wide range of responsibilities I have, and I know I speak for the Foreign Secretary, I speak for Minister Field as well. Our door is not just open in terms of our responsibilities, it's shared in that it's open in that shared friendship we have between our two nations. And our two nations do share an incredible friendship. I'm reminded of the fact that there are many in my own social circle who hail from Sri Lanka, not least my doctor, who I know very well, and it demonstrates the importance of the strong British Sri Lankan diaspora. But I'm proud also that as I look around this room, there are many diasporas that come from different parts of the world, and again, I'm an example of that. But you know what, we're proud of those diasporas, but we also claim them. That's why we put Britain as Britain Sri Lankan diaspora, Britain Indian diasporas, because it is the diversity of our great country, diversity of the city which is exemplified in the city we meet today of London, which is great strength of our nation. And our bonds between our two nations are historic. They are sustained by our people, and therefore it is important we make and demonstrate the pride we have for those who contribute so richly to our two cultures, communities and countries. And we value the historic and ongoing contribution of the British Sri Lankan diaspora to the wealth, progress and prosperity of the United Kingdom. Over the years, as you yourself have said, Your Excellency, our bonds have been strengthened by the very successful So Sri Lanka campaign, which encouraged record numbers of British tourists to visit Sri Lanka last year and create their own fond memories of this incredible, beautiful island and its friendly people. And need I say more, that I'm standing in front of this rather incredible backdrop, which as Her Excellency was speaking, I was saying, well, I must get out there very soon. So, Laura, make note, ministerial visit to be made, of course. Issues of state. And I assure you, as a minister in the government and anyone who's served in that, we will continue, when you visit as a minister, a lot of my friends may think, oh yes, Tariq, you're in various exotic parts of the world. But this is literally what I'd see from a car before I'm back on a plane. But the island is a beautiful one, and we're proud of the fact that it's one that is visited so frequently and so extensively by British tourists. Now, Your Excellency, you mentioned the importance of cricket, and of course we welcome and look forward to welcoming countries from across the world for the exciting World Cup cricket which will be held here in England and Wales. You also said that you can give no guarantees of the performance of the Sri Lankan team. Now, amongst my responsibilities at the Foreign Office, I'm also Minister for the Caribbean. Now, those who follow cricket would of course welcome the fact that I had briefed our team well for our relations in the Caribbean, and they performed very diligently in respect of delivering on that important objective. And all I'll say is that we will be gracious hosts when other cricketing nations arrive, and I see many in this room from other parts of the world, most notably Australia amongst them. And we look forward to what we hope will be a competitive, a friendly World Cup, and we do hope that weather will stay on side as well. But there was also another important link. As you mentioned yourself, Your Excellency, in April, I had the honour of welcoming President Sirisena as the Minister for the Commonwealth and the delegation to London for the Commonwealth Summit. But I'll let you into a little secret, he says, with many a camera rolling. I remember the day in April very well. And at that time, clearly someone else does. I didn't know. That was exactly the reaction I had upon the anecdotal story I was about to tell you. The scene was set, things were open, delegations were arriving, and there are always challenges in Parliament. And the then Foreign Secretary, Boris Johnson, who I worked very closely with in the delivery of that summit, there I was receiving the delegations, and I suddenly saw my mobile phone go off, and it said Boris Johnson on the... so I diligently took the call from my boss at that time, and it went a bit like as follows: Tariq, matey, where are you? And I went, well, I'm at the summit, Foreign Secretary. And he went, that's good, that's what I expected. Small challenge in Parliament, all of us lot are on the three-line whip. You're there on your own, matey, hold the fort. So, now there I was hosting perhaps one of the biggest summits we have in our history. But in true British tradition of keep calm and carry on, that's exactly what I sought to do with my excellent team. And indeed, it was a successful summit, building on those strong diaspora ties and helping the Commonwealth, which I'm proud that the United Kingdom is an inherent and integral part of, playing its full part in big priorities, not just for the UK, but for all Commonwealth nations across the globe. And it's an important relationship, not least with the small issue of Brexit, which is keeping many people occupied. But I do want to just make a serious point there. I talked about near neighbours. Whatever the outcomes of the discussions we're having, it is important that as we leave the European Union, I again state on record the importance of what our Prime Minister has done and assured. That yes, whilst we leave the European Union, we stay part and parcel of the European continent, not just in terms of our geography, but in terms of our relationship. And we will continue to work closely with our European neighbours, friends and partners on the important objectives across many areas of common activity. But in doing so, the Commonwealth will also have a key role to play, and I'm delighted that we will have the likes of Cyprus and Malta who will be part of the EU, but equally we will continue to have that bridging relationship with our European Union partners. Now, High Commissioner, you said as I came on stage, did you have a late evening? It's always a late evening at the moment, but last night, as you rightly acknowledged, my last matter of business was I was actually answering a debate, appropriately, on Sri Lanka. And I'm delighted my colleague and friend Lord Naseby who's a great advocate of Sri Lanka, is here this evening as well. But it was a very informed debate, and it was important of also a debate which reflected on the opportunities, the strengths, but also importantly the challenges that continue to face Sri Lanka. But I give you this assurance that we as a friend will continue to work with Sri Lanka in ensuring that we build that positive progress that has already been achieved over recent years. Sri Lanka has come through some difficult few months recently as well, but befitting of your status, as you yourself said, Your Excellency, of one of the oldest democracies in Asia, it was heartening to see the rule of law and the strength of your independent institutions, particularly the Parliament and the judiciary, which have helped successfully negotiate through a period of political uncertainty. And the UN Human Rights Council in March, which I am hoping to attend, will be another important step in Sri Lanka's journey towards long-term stability and prosperity for all its people. And I'm pleased that we stand together with Sri Lanka at this important point. Our environmental cooperation is particularly important, and we will be working together with Sri Lanka on important priorities, such as the Commonwealth Blue Charter Action Group on the restoration of mangroves, or of course through the UK-led Commonwealth Clean Oceans Alliance, which we co-chair with Vanuatu, which is seeking to eliminate the use of avoidable single-use plastics, which wash up on beaches from the Hebrides to Marissa. We owe it to future generations to make this work a real success. And Your Excellency, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, we're also proud of our trading partnership with Sri Lanka. There are more than 100 companies with UK affiliation in Sri Lanka today, operating over a swathe of sectors and growing year on year. They have helped drive up annual trade between us to over £1.2 billion, making the UK one of the top 10 investors in Sri Lanka. And looking ahead, the potential involvement of UK businesses in developments such as the Colombo Port City and Megapolis, which are set to increase trade, investment and the exchange of skills between us well into the next decade. And you can see I'm making a bit of a pitch for business there as well. But Your Excellency, the ties between our two nations are strong. They will continue to go from strength to strength, I am sure. And it is a common language we share, a common history, a common future as well. And I assure you that we will join with Sri Lanka in continuing the prosperity and progress we have seen. There are many in this room who represent business, who represent politics, who represent civil society. And I think the strength of participation here tonight demonstrates the real affection in the hearts of everyone from every sector, including many colleagues from the British Parliament who hold Sri Lanka very close to our hearts. So it's been an immense privilege for me to join you this evening on behalf of Her Majesty's government. And in concluding, may I once again reaffirm the UK's hand of friendship, extend the best wishes of the Prime Minister, Mrs May, the Foreign Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, and I too, if I may, ask you, Your Excellency, to join me in a toast as well. Yes. If I could ask you, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, to raise your heart to the good health of His Excellency, the President of Sri Lanka, and in doing so, on behalf of the British government, and indeed all our assembled friends of Sri Lanka here today, to you, High Commissioner, to the President, Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.